Hello and welcome. Please find a seat, have a block nearby for later, and once you're settled into your seat, soften your eyes or close your eyes. Exhale and relax your shoulders, and just notice how the inhale begins automatically on its own. And you don't need to do anything at all. You know it's coming, you trust. The breath is there. And as you sit for a moment or two longer, just centering your attention, see if you can recall a time when you trusted and something magical happened. Like maybe there was an outcome that you could have never predicted, but you believed even though you didn't have any evidence. And if it's hard for you to remember a time, perhaps consider if there was a moment when you stopped moving forward in this way. We'll take one more big breath together here. If your eyes are closed, just begin to blink them open. And you're going to move on your mat into all fours. I would suggest putting the block near the hand end of your mat for later. You don't need it right now. And when you get to all fours, just take your hands about one handprint forward from under your shoulders. That's easier on the wrists, and it's also going to be helpful for setting up our next couple of poses. So keep the wrists straight and strong, like sharpen that angle. In other words, push down into the floor as you begin to move your spine freely in any way that feels good to you. As you move your spine around, just feel those firm handprints, stretching the wrists, stretching the hands. And then curl your toes under and lift your knees to come up and back into downward facing dog. Instead of pedaling the legs, begin to pivot your heels from side to side. So you can spin on the balls of the feet or kind of step turn both heels to the right, both heels to the left. Think of it almost like you're sort of wagging your tail to the side. And as your heels go to the right, you're stretching open the left side body. And one more time, pivoting or walking the feet so that the heels go to the left. You're opening the right side of your body. Come to neutral, feet parallel, normal position. Give yourself a full inhale. Let the exhale out your mouth. Inhale forward to plank pose. Pause, don't bend the elbows, just hold. Lift up the waist, lengthen the neck, stay with it. 3, stay here, you can do it. 2, just warming up the arms. And 1, drop the knees and push back into child's pose. Rest your hands and rest your head down. And again, notice the exhale and how with no effort at all, the inhale just begins. Trusting has this element of vision, of some sort of inner knowing. You're going to begin to walk yourself upright to sit on your heels If it's uncomfortable to sit on your heels, grab a blanket and wedge it between the back of your leg and the calf, or sit on your block. While upright with your torso, you're going to put your hands behind your head. You're going to interlace them and flare the elbows wide. We're going to push the head into the headrest to begin to engage the muscles of the neck and the upper back. As you push back and you feel that engagement, tip to the right. Now I'm not mirroring you, so it might look like I'm tipping to the left. You're going to twist slightly with the chest or the head and look toward the left elbow. Breathe into the left side body. Inhale, center. Exhale, tip. So left elbow down, right elbow up. We start with that like a side bend. Lean the head into your headrest. And then rotate the chest or maybe the head to the right. Keep pushing the right elbow slightly back, engaging the back body as you open through your right side. Then you're going to inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, return yourself to all fours. Curl those toes under. And once more, push back into downward facing dog. Without moving the feet this time, just holding the pose steady. We're going to keep the legs the focus of stability right now. We're going to play with an odd variation with the arms. So you're going to begin to shift your weight toward the right hand and see if you can get lighter in the left hand. Maybe you lift up the heel of the hand and come just onto the fingertips. Now, if things are going okay, you can trust that maybe you can move just a little bit, and you're going to start to tiptoe that left hand off your mat to the left. Maybe even so far off the left that it's at a right angle from your mat. Deep exhale, satisfying exhale. The inhale will come, you know it will. Return the left hand to dog pose, and we'll do this on the second side. Lean a little weight into the left hand, get lighter in the heel of the right hand, maybe come onto the fingertips. And just to learn that you have the strength and stability to trust what's going on. You can choose to stop here or start to walk your hand over to the right, perhaps way off perpendicular to your mat to the side. Bring the right hand back. Inhale forward to plank. Hold straight arms. 3. Lift the waist. 2. Lengthen the neck. 1. Exhale, knees down. Sit back in child's pose. Rest the arms. Put your forehead on the mat. Take your hands behind your skull and interlace your fingers, just like when you were sitting a moment ago. With your elbows still down and the hands clasping the back of the skull, lift your head up until you feel your upper back and the back of your neck working. Now see if you can push into your hands and sit all the way back up, sitting on your heels again. Once you get upright, hands stay right behind the head. Keep the elbows nice and wide. Gaze forward. And in your mind, you're going to come back to that moment when you trusted and something magical happened, or the moment that you stopped trusting and you lost faith in the magic. When you have that and you feel that, you're going to close your eyes, keeping the elbows wide, the head pushing into the headrest. Move the eyes side to side behind the closed eyelids, side to side, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Stay with it, holding the vision, left, right, left, right, left, right. One more time to the right, and then to the left with the eyes. The eyes will face forward. And as you exhale, you're going to allow your head and your elbows to come forward and down towards your chest. Keep just a memory of the pressure back of head into hands. Even though we're stretching the back of the neck, with a gentle tug down. Inhale, lift the head, lift the arms. Take the hands to the front plane with them still clasped and push the palms forward in front of your chest. You can stay with them here if you want, or consider just beginning to bring the arms up toward the sky. This one's a lot more intense for me. I can't go quite as high without having pain or gripping. So if that's happening for you, just don't reach so high with the arms. Let's take one more breath in. On exhale, just release the hands and again, shift to all fours. Curl the toes under and take yourself right back into downward facing dog. Once you're stable in the pose, raise the right leg. Turn the right hip open higher than the left and begin to bend the right knee. So your foot is going to reach behind you to the left. To counterbalance this, get lighter in your left hand and play with this idea of walking your left hand off your mat to the left. We did it already without the leg up. If you get it over there, you can lean some weight into it. You can push that right foot way behind you to the left and use the left hand like an outrigger so you don't capsize over in your boat. Just trust yourself, trust your strength. Take one more breath, like big belly breath. As you exhale, you're gonna go to ninja star. So the right foot is gonna tuck up under you and shoot towards your left hand. Left hand's gonna leave the ground. Pivot the left foot so it's flat on the earth and open up. This is just a version of side plank where the bottom leg is stretched out perpendicular to the mat. Push down into the right hand straight and strong. As you exhale, gently drop your hips to the ground. That lifted hand, it's gonna swing around until you face your mat. Once you're facing the mat with your hands, you can kind of push, pull, and leverage the twist. So some people really like staying upright in this. Some people prefer coming down onto the forearms. You might even play with both. I learned the name of this pose as Brighid's cross. So the legs are forming basically a cross or a right angle. Right leg stretching out to the left, left foot straight back behind. Lift your belly slightly, turn your tummy. And don't be afraid to walk the torso more to the right or more toward the right foot to the left. I know that sounds confusing. Walking to the left brings you closer to the right foot. So different angle of torso will get different part of the body. And I encourage you to explore and feel, not just think, but feel what's right for your body right now. Just trust yourself. You know the answer. Don't think too hard about it. Just feel. Start to pick yourself back up out of there. We're just going to reverse how we got down here by picking the hips up, turn the hips, suck that right knee up, and then take one leg dog pose with the right leg extended. This time think of it more like the split. So the hands are staying normal, in quotes, whatever that means. Right leg high, left heel down. As you exhale, you're gonna lean into plank, bring that right knee up underneath you, just hover there. Back is like cat pose for just a moment. Lift high, high, high with the hips, even lift the left heel, and step the right foot next to the right thumb. Shift the left foot a little forward and drop that left heel so that you can straighten your legs and come into Tanasana or pyramid pose. Here is one place where you might find it useful to have your block. Try to pull the hips back at the same time as you lengthen the spine forward. Calm the breath, steady the mind, soften the brow, and see if you can open to the bigger vision. You may not know quite how you're going to get there or what the next step even is, but you trust that one day, who knows when, who knows how, you're going to get there. Stay with the legs as is. Begin to bow the head over the right leg. Just go in a little deeper. Inner edge of the right foot down. Tightening the knees as best you can to keep the legs straight and strong. So we're going to drop the left knee into a kneeling lunge, but we're going to take a little bit of a different variation. So you can grab that block and put it behind your right heel a little ways, and then drag that left knee forward and put the left toenails flat. So that's like a Virasana foot, but we're going to sit back on the brick. You could use a pillow as well. Bring the right knee in a little closer. Let the hips release down. And then begin to twist to the right. You can put the right hand on the small of your back or your hip. It might be difficult to reach the floor. I have really long arms, so it's easy for me, but you may not choose that option. So there's a couple of options here, and I'm going to give you, just obviously staying in the twist as is. But another choice would be to take the arm balance, Pada Koundinyasana 1, there's 2 of them. By leaning the hands over to the side, you'll lift your hips, bend the elbows slightly, shift the weight over the hands, and see if you can get that left foot off the ground. Maybe both feet leave the ground. If they do, you go in the direction of straightening your legs. And if they don't, no big deal. Just find your way back to downward facing dog. Regroup there. And we'll set up for the second side of the sequence. Swing up the left leg, turn the hips out, and bend the left knee. You're going to walk your right hand off your mat to the right. Woo, I had a wobble, but you see, we just trust that, you know what, even if we slip and slide, one day we're going to figure out how to do this this thing called living. So just reach the left foot to the right behind you. Right hand is off the mat to the side if possible. It's a counter way. You can push into it and just really open up the left side of your belly. We're heading to Ninja Star here. So you lean like you're going to plank pose. You bring that left knee up underneath you, and you swing the left foot over to the right toward your right hand if it's off the mat. As you do that, you have to pivot the back foot so the heel is down. That's why we pivoted our feet earlier. Keep the hips lifted, push down into your left hand, roll the right arm open. Stay with it just one more moment, and then try to do it with care. Set your hips down. You can always put the right hand down too if you need to. Turn toward the top of your mat using your arm strength to twist in Brighid's cross. And feel free to stay upright, kind of like cobra with the spine, or to bring yourself forward and drop onto the forearms. It's normal for moments in time like this where we might have to enact energy and create some power to mobilize, right? Sometimes trusting means taking the step even when we're not sure where the hell it's going. And sometimes trusting means just sitting still, being patient. And this idea of feeling is really helpful. So right now we can practice feeling, where is it in alignment for you? Do you need to walk the torso to the right towards the left foot? Is it better for you to walk the torso to the left or somewhere in the middle? And what you're feeling for that will help you to know when you're in quotes in alignment is some sort of like an opening. Like maybe there's relief, or maybe you feel stronger or more centered, or the breath becomes brighter. Maybe it feels good, and what I mean is maybe it like hurts so good because it's stretching in the right way. Let's pick ourselves back up. We're heading back to dog pose. So we've got to pick up the hips, maybe walk that right foot in, turn the belly, pick up the left foot, send it back. So dog pose, left leg up, both hands down though, both hands same as normal. Think of it more like the splits. We're allowing the hips to turn out slightly, but we're really reaching up through the left leg and anchoring down through the right heel. Lean forward, it's a hovering plank, knee towards chest, pause, hold, hold. Lift up your belly, lift up the right heel, step the left foot forward, right next to left thumb. Tanasana, pyramid pose, right foot steps in slightly. And we're gonna spin that right heel down on a diagonal to come into our straight leg, forward facing pose. Grab the block if you need it. We're gonna stay with the spine upright for just a little bit. And we're gonna acclimate, and you can practice, continue to practice feeling internally from your inner wisdom, learning to trust your inner wisdom on where you need to be and what you need to be doing while you're there. More action, less action. What do you need? What can help you hold the vision, even if you're uncertain of the steps at this point in time? Come into the forward folded part of this. So you're just going to bend your elbows or come off the block and take your head down toward your left leg. Not trusting yourself is an old pattern. It's an old, old habit. And I am here to tell you that it is time to put in a new habit. What would it feel like if you trusted yourself completely? What would it feel like if you trusted the universe to provide, to catch you? Begin to bend your knees, drop the right one to the ground. Now we're going to drag it slightly forward so it's kind of closer in line with the left heel. Slide the block back and sit so the right leg is in Virasana. And the left leg is kind of like Marichyasana, it's upright. Hold your knee, lift the spine. So this pose is associated with Hanuman. Hanuman is the icon for service. And this position is preparation for leaping into action. Sometimes we sit, sometimes we have to be ready to go. Begin your twist if you haven't already. So right elbow crosses to the left knee or wraps around is an option too. Put the left hand on your back or maybe behind you on the ground, depending on how long your arms are or how high your prop is. You can stay here if you want to, or you can consider going into your arm balance. We call it Pada Koundinyasana. So if you do that, you place the hands much like dog pose. You have to be able to lift your hips up. You can step that right foot out, and then you bend your elbows and you lean your hips a little left and see if you can find that balance point. And really that's the beginning, is just seeing where is the point where my feet get lighter. And maybe you straighten the legs when you get there, maybe you don't. Wherever you are, wherever you went, you're gonna come back and we're gonna find our way back into down dog one more time. you're ready, bend your knees, step, hop, or jump your feet toward your hands. Set them about hip width apart. And on the exhale, fold in. Turn the toes slightly out. Heels are hip width, toes are wider. Squat down in Malasana. Go deep, deep as your knees will let you. You can put your elbows on the inside of your knees, join your palms, and place your forehead on your thumbs. Use your hands if you need to and begin to sit down. And then scoot just a little ways forward on your mat so that if you were to lie down, you wouldn't fall off. But you might want to have a quick peek. If you don't know this pose, we're going to do Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana, so upward facing forward fold. So you'll prep as if to do shoulder stand or plow. But the difference is we balance the weight on the shoulders and upper back, not the shoulders and the head. So you swing the feet over. And then you reach for the feet. Once you have the feet, you might have to bend your knees or separate your feet if you're a little bit less flexible. You roll the hips away from the head as if you're going to roll them down. And you're sort of drawing the legs closer to the torso. And your weight is largely on your back. There's not really much weight in the shoulders. It's kind of like the back of the heart. Obviously the head is down, the shoulders are down. And you're just balancing your weight there. If it's not working for you to reach for your feet or balance, you can take Happy Baby instead. And eventually you're going to start to roll out of Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana. It's a mouthful. And then you're going to bend your knees and go to Happy Baby as well. Just rock the hips a little bit from side to side. And then you're going to set your feet down, scooch back on your mat, prepping for Shavasana. And in your preparation, keep your knees bent. Push down with your elbows as if to do bridge pose, but instead of lifting your butt, push your tail down. Push the back of your skull down, much like you did against our hands earlier. And curl the chest away from the floor. As you curl the chest up, your head can drag in a little closer to your behind. The chest is rising so much that the shoulders might even leave the ground, but you're pushing back with the upper arms, squeezing your back muscles to really flare the chest and front body open. Even the front of the throat is open. As you push your skull back, the neck is getting support from the muscles in the back of the neck so that the front is wide open. Breathe into the front of the chest, top of the lungs. Keep this buoyancy in the chest and relax the effort so that the shoulders return to the floor. The head and neck lengthen back to normal. And then you're going to open your arms out to the side in a Shavasana shape. Once they're there, pull your tailbone away from your head to lengthen the low back. Take a nice breath in. And then stretch your legs out on the ground. As you rest quietly in Shavasana, just come back to your vision. Tapping into that feeling of trust, perhaps when some magic happened that exceeded your expectations or your belief. If it's difficult for you to trust, try to find that moment when you stop believing in the magic. And just imagine on some inner level that you're disentangling that knot so that you can believe again. And the vision may have an element of actual visualization. There may be a feeling tone, a color, a person, a place, whatever you can connect to. Hold the vision. Trust that you can get there. Begin to gather your awareness again, attention back in the body, not just on the vision, just being here right now. Stretch the fingers and the toes. You can always stay longer if you want to. But if you're ready to reawaken, just turn onto your side and pause for a moment or two. Use your hands to push yourself slowly back upright. Let's take a seat, any leg position, upright in the spine. If you'd like, join your hands in Anjali Mudra. And even though it might feel like you're walking through mud sometimes or walking in circles, you have the vision. So trust yourself. Trust in the universe. And the way will be shown. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time.